Welcome back to the Ricky Matthews Show from the Citizens Bank Studio. I enjoyed visiting with Bart Luther, and he's so passionate about coastal Mississippi, the work he's doing in the bicycle community, and really just the work he's doing in his private life to try to take it all in and enjoy all these different dimensions of coastal Mississippi. It's inspiring to hear his story. Hey, I ran across a quote. I wanted to share it with you real quick, and it's from Vanessa Williams. You may remember her, the first Black Miss America, crowned back in 1983. But she said this: "You should be unique. You should be confident. And that's how people remember who you are. You have to be willing to share who you are and your story." One of the great things I love about this show is the opportunity to really kind of get to know people, get to know their stories. It's kind of hard to hide in a long format show like this. That is for sure. And, I've had a couple of people in the nearly 1,200 conversations that we've had who tried to fake it a little bit, but it didn't last long. And again, through a long form interview like this, most of the people, 99.9999% of the people that we have on the show have great stories, and they know who they are. That's the beauty of it. They know sort of who they are, and they're comfortable in their own skin, and it's just fun to have these conversations. Someone who I know is comfortable in her skin is my friend Paige Roberts from the Jackson County Chamber of Commerce, and someone I just really admire and enjoy spending time with. Paige, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Ricky.
So you heard that quote from Vanessa Williams, but it's true. We have to be in touch with our stories, really, if we want to feel comfortable with who we are and what our contributions to the community could ultimately be.
I think what's important to know, actually, with Vanessa Williams, because I fully remember when she won Miss America, was that she actually had to give up her crown through a scandal, but was able to rebuild a career or build a career anew as a movie actress, as well as a continued professional singer, television shows, married Rick Fox, who grew up near me in northern Indiana, and they're no longer together, but have a beautiful family. So I think, again, as you and I have discussed time and time again on this show, it isn't about the getting knocked down. It's about the getting up.
No, I agree so much. And that's what resiliency means. It means the ability to bounce back no matter what the situation is. Hey, listen, we recently had this kind of, well, I would say scrape of a hurricane with Hurricane Francine. But what was interesting about it, I mentioned this to Clay when we visited Clay Williams from the airport, is that when a storm threatens, so for days ahead of time, you're anxious that, we might get hit. And then when it looks like, wait a minute, we actually might be on the edge of this, or there could be a chance that it still comes here. Now you're in preparation mode. And then you go through all that preparation mode. And then now it's time for the storm to hit. You bring your family together. Kids are out of school. Man, when it's all over with, you're exhausted. Now, I'm thrilled that we didn't take a direct hit from that storm. Don't get me wrong. And there may be more to come, unfortunately, because the season is far from over. But it is an exhausting process, isn't it?
Well, I find it very disruptive, and especially because it was a Wednesday and Thursday, it was a waste of a week in many ways. I had things planned that were going to be happening professionally that all got swept away with the wind and had to start afresh the next Monday. So, yeah, I'm also thankful, of course, that it was the storm that really wasn't. I'll take that all day long. But yeah, they can be annoying, but that does not outweigh my gratitude.
Yeah, it doesn't mine as well. I will take a close call every single day. And I said at the beginning of the season, we'll probably be dodging one or two. We may get hit before it's over. Well, we're going to get hit. It may not this year. It might not be
One
next
day.
year. We're going to get hit again. And I really believe strongly, and this show helps kind of bolster that belief, that we're in a much better position today than we've ever been in terms of preparation, in terms of infrastructure, just how solid we rebuilt after Hurricane Katrina to be more resilient in the future. And you have the opportunity through your various roles that you play in the community to see how quick we are to help one another. And so I think we're in a better position if we were to have, God forbid, another Katrina or something like that.
Yes, we are in a better position. We always have to be diligent.
Yeah.
Vigilant.
Yeah, vigilant and diligent.
Sorry.
Both.
My words are off this morning. Vigilant. We always need to be vigilant and do due diligence, because it is something you can become sloppy or apathetic about and end up blindsided when you really didn't have to be.
Yeah, and just to remind people, Paige has tremendous experience working with the Red Cross. So this is not a conversation she comes at it and lightly. She really does truly appreciate what mobilization and what response looks like, what recovery looks like, which is why was so beneficial and to have as a leader in the community when the tornadoes hit Moss Point last year. Just such an important leader in our community. Hey, Paige, let's spend a little time today talking about the chamber, specifically the chamber. How are things going these days? How's your membership doing? How's your board doing?
Well, just today we got 2 new members, so we're especially excited. We have had a banner year. Our fiscal year ends September 30th, so we're just 2 weeks away from the changeover to the new fiscal year, and our membership dues budget line for both renewal and new members is well above our budgeted numbers for the first time in the 5 years that I've been here. It's really the best year we've had for that. I would like to think that has been a growing, building effort that we have done by basically funneling or filtering our decisions through our 5 values. And we value leadership, growth, connection, collaboration, and inclusion. And that is how we make our decisions, through that value system. And it's working, I'm pleased to say. The autumn, as you and especially our coastal Mississippi listeners know, when the weather gets better, either cooler in the fall or warmer in the spring, we start to be very social. And we have a lot of activities coming up and events in September, October, and November.
Yeah, it's an exciting year. It's an exciting part of the year coming up. You're cruising the coast and all kinds of cool stuff that's happening. I like to think, I feel this way about all the chambers of the coast. And I say it all the time. You've heard me say 100 times that it's not your father's chamber. It's about community building and all the things, these 5 things that you just mentioned, these values of your organization. It makes it easier when someone says, well, what is the chamber doing for me? And I think what you're doing is educating people to say, don't ask that question. Don't ask, what is the chamber doing for you? Ask yourself the question, what is the chamber doing for the community? What are we doing together to build a great community? And I think that when you look at it that way, people are going to be much more apt to renew their membership. In the old days, it might have been, what am I getting from this? But today it's hard. If you just pay a little bit of attention, it's hard not to be aware of how the chamber affects the community in so many different ways. And that's real.
Right. And if a chamber is focusing, as we do, on relevance, then that can look many different ways. It is about, as you said, how do we come together as a community collectively to leverage our resources, money, manpower, materials, to make life better, to improve our quality of life here on coastal Mississippi, for the people who live here, the people who visit here, and for the people who will one day come to live here.
Yeah, there's literally no doubt about that. Let me check in with Kyle real quick. Is this the final segment, Kyle? No, I didn't think so. Just wanted to make sure. So listen, Paige, I think about so many different things, but as it relates to one of the important things that you're doing in the chamber, this whole notion of working to kind of facilitate building downtown and granting mechanisms and historic districts and all the work you're doing to create a better place to live. When we come back on the other side for the final segment, I want to get an update from you about how all that's going. We'll see you after this with Paige Roberts. Welcome back to the Ricky Matthews Show from the Citizens Bank studio. Hope you're having a great day. We're visiting with my friend Paige Roberts, who's the president and CEO of the Jackson County Chamber, super active in the community. As I mentioned before we went to break, one of the roles the chamber plays, though, I mean, it's a very significant role in working with various stakeholders on this notion of building a stronger, better community. And there's been a lot of work going on in that area, but in places like Moss Point and Pascagoula, maybe to some extent in Gaucher. But what's the latest in your world as it relates to that, Paige?
Sure. Well, the Pascagoula downtown revitalization effort continues to be humming along. We have mentioned before, Joe Cloyd is about to start renovating the old train depot, which is very exciting, with the Amtrak schedule set to begin next year in 2025. And then he's also turning what was once Anchor Square into the cottages at the depot. So they're going to be very fine residences also downtown. So, and a new restaurant called Zach's that just started construction, or renovation rather, last week in between the raindrops. Moss Point's downtown revitalization is focusing heavily on the infrastructure downtown, and some really great efforts combined with their Main Street program, the same as in Pascagoula. A great timing of legislative dollars that went to the main streets that are allowing the main streets to focus on streetscape design, as well as sort of the connectivity, if you will, that coincides so beautifully with the developer's vision. So that's happening in both Pascagoula and in Moss Point. Ocean Springs, as you know, has that big building on Government Street that has the parking garage and the new mixed-use building right there. I just drove by it this morning. So everywhere you go, there is an uplifting sense of our future and what is happening, and that there is progress. And it's just a great feeling. And it isn't confined to Jackson County. As you know, up and down coastal Mississippi, you find great projects and really some good enthusiasm.
Hey, it's been interesting to watch. You and I haven't talked about it. I did talk about it with the mayor of Gaucher when it was just kind of a glimmer of a thought. But the new concert venue in Gaucher, I've had a couple of my kids have been to concerts there with their families and sitting on the grass watching some great concerts and lots of people there. That's kind of turned out to be a cool little deal, hasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I'm so glad you brought that up. I was at the Lauren Daigle concert.
Yeah, they were too. Yeah.
But on the 27th or 8th, I can't remember, but it is Melissa Etheridge and Jewel, both of whom I love, and I will be there like in row 3. I'm so excited. And it's a beautiful venue. They did such a lovely job on sort of dropping it down into the woods and just environmentally lovely.
Yeah, they enjoy. I mean, they send pictures back of having the cover, blankets or whatever on the ground, and the kids on the ground, and and just the music in the background and other families sort of with them on the deal. And they're bringing in some great artists. It's pretty interesting the way that's all played out.
Oh, yes. And I'm looking forward to that continuing. Miranda Lambert's going to be there at the end of this month as well. Yes, it's just very unique. It has been well attended. And I think that as Goche continues to build around it in their revitalization effort, it's going to go very well hand in hand with that venue.
It is so neat to see that. You mentioned Joe Cloyd and with the Amtrak doing what they're doing. I've mentioned this to you before. Joe said, "Well, this is going to be my last project." He said that like 5 projects ago.
Right.
Someone said of Joe that everything he touches turns to gold. But it takes people like Joe, as you and I have discussed before, and the Nico brothers and others that are willing to bet the ranch on helping make a community better. We're so lucky we have them in our community.
Oh, absolutely. And now we're seeing with this new restaurant, Zach's, Josh Walzak is the owner. He's the actual chef and grew up here in Pascagoula and did the culinary program at the college and technical education, career technical education location. So just to have, again, another homegrown boy become a young man, become a chef that he studied to be, and now is going to be his own restaurant owner in downtown Pascagoula.
Hey, introduce him, if you don't mind, to Cammie. I'd love to have him on the show. That would be
He's a character you will enjoy.
Those entrepreneurial efforts. I've heard that. Hey, Paige, it's been a pleasure to catch up with you, my friend.
You too.
This has been Paige Roberts from the Jackson County Chamber. Listen, have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.